Bloomberg Audio Studios.
Podcasts, radio, news.
The stock alone has just been staggering to watch over the past couple of years, but let's talk a little bit about the future from here, because we think about Abercrombie & Fitch. Your market is really millennial men and women, but are millennials alone enough to fuel future growth beyond what you've already built?
Hey, good morning, Katie. Thanks for having me, and congrats on the new show. Yeah, so to get right to your question, what's really exciting about the renaissance of Abercrombie is the fact that we have really changed our addressable market. You know, the Abercrombie in the past that people reference was much more of a teen consumer. We've really opened up that space for Hollister and made that the global iconic teen brand. And Abercrombie has truly aged up. The consumer today, they start to shop with us in their early 20s. They still stay well into their 40s. So that's a big shift for us that will clearly support the sustainability of the business. Additionally, we've added so many new categories. The way I like to say it is in the past, right, we were a jeans and t-shirt company, and today we're truly a lifestyle brand.
And I mean, it's an interesting strategy, of course. You think about who was shopping at Abercrombie in the early 2000s. They're now those millennials that are shopping at your store. And I want to talk about how they're shopping, because if you take a look at the margin level, it seems that digital is a bit more profitable than bricks and mortar, for example. I'm curious how you're viewing those two different platforms.
Yeah, listen, both are profitable for us. Our most profitable consumer, frankly, is our omni consumer. That's the consumer that shops on each and every channel with us. We have said for many years that stores matter to this consumer, as does digital. I like to put it as stores plus digital equal magic. And again, just to reiterate, that omni consumer is our most profitable consumer. You know, this customer uses the store a little bit differently than the Hollister consumer does. This consumer does a big part of the business online. The majority of our business is digital, but it doesn't mean that they don't come to the store to transact. That could be to pick up something that they purchased online and pop in to pick up. It could be to do a return or an exchange, see what's new for the day. The Hollister consumer, that business is closer to about a 30% digital business. You know, he and she still see the mall as a very social place with their friends, like to come in on the weekends and go shopping with them. So interesting difference between the consumer.
I'm really interested, Fran, in how you're thinking also about price points here, because you have a consumer. We had inflation data this morning showing that inflation is starting to cool down, but you do still have many consumer-focused companies feeling that strained client. And it's interesting, over the years, a lot of people have gone to Abercrombie and Fitch to do things like go shopping for bridesmaids' dresses, for their weddings. Are you finding yourself able to deliver a cheaper option in many ways, or a more affordable option, at least?
Well, to your point, our wedding shop has been a terrific success for us, and that goes back to my point about expanding the customer, both the age cohort as well as the products that they are willing to buy from us and the confidence that they find in what we're putting out there. What we see from our consumer is that when you have the quality and fashion at the perception price that they are willing to pay, they are willing to spend. You know, coming off of a record Q1, that would tell you that our product voice and experience is lining up really well. And that's true, in fact, what we saw around the world, right? We saw a double-digit increase in our brands, our regions, our channels. So all in, it was really a terrific quarter for us.
The other area that investors and clients are both really watching pretty closely is your expansion in activewear. What is the size today of the YPB business, and who is it taking share from? Is it grabbing share from the likes of a Lululemon or a Alo, for example?
What's YPB?
The Athletic.
So YPB is our performance brand. It stands for your personal best. It's something that we launched in Abercrombie Adult about 2 years ago. And you know, it's a great question, Sonali, because the reason that we created that brand, that sub-brand for us, was because we focus on the long weekend for our consumer. That is what our whole mindset is about. What is that consumer doing on their long weekend? And they said to us, you know what? One of the things that we're doing is we are being active with our friends. We're working out, we're hanging out, and we actually leave your store, go down the mall, and buy this product from somebody else. So we know you can do it just as well, if not better. So we put together a test about 2 years ago. We saw a strong result from it, and we've seen terrific growth from it for the year over year.
Fran, one of the things that led to your success is you used to have sizes that were just for teens or people who are in incredibly good shape. And as you said, you've become more inclusive, and we've at least I've read, with good fabrics, a great price point, design obviously are all important. But the stories today about weight loss drugs lead me to wonder about a resizing in the other direction. Obviously, it's not going to be so fast that you can't keep up with it in terms of your product mix, but do you see that actually making an impact, the Wegovy's and Ozempics, or does it not really make a big enough difference for you to notice in terms of the sizes that you're selling?
Yeah, Matt, to date, we really haven't seen a difference. I understand your question is a little bit more long term.
Yes.
I think the way that we think about it is that the consumer shops when they have the need for something, right? And that whether that's an increased size or a smaller size, I'm excited today that Abercrombie offers an entire wide range of diverse sizing, different fabrics and quality of things. We launched something called Curve Love a few years ago in our denim area for women's. It's almost half of our business today. That's just a curvy individual. It doesn't necessarily mean, what particular size that they might be. So there's always an opportunity for the consumer when they see, again, that price, the product, voice, and experience lining up and a product that they're enjoying and needing, they're shopping with us.
And Fran, I want to talk a little bit about inventory, because a lot of retailers, a lot of apparel makers in particular, learned a lot of hard lessons about inventory during the pandemic. It's interesting. If you take a look at Abercrombie, you actually place your orders a few months or weeks in advance for some of your categories. That compares to an industry strategy of about 9 months ahead of time. Do you see that potentially becoming a risk again? If we saw another shock, how vulnerable does that sort of short lead time on inventory potentially leave you?
Katie, like in anything, we have to strike a balance in our business. So we don't run all of our business that tight. We strike a balance. But one of the biggest lessons that we learned from COVID, to your point, is that you can do a lot more with a lot less. And keeping lean inventory and making sure you're on top of listening to the consumer has been a win for us. Over the past few years, our logistics team has figured out how to make sure that they get the product to the consumer at the right time. So we have a playbook that we continue to exercise, and I'm excited about the agility that the team has built into the process.
And Fran, we don't have much more time left, but I do want to talk about promotions. We've seen a lot of your peers turn to promotions. If we take a look back to your first quarter earnings, you actually reported fewer promotions. When you think about pricing in this environment, a weakening consumer, still high prices, how does your promotional strategy fit in?
Listen, the way that we talk about our promotions, we've talked about this for years, is that we focus inwardly on what our consumer is reacting to. I work with the teams literally every Monday. We have our business review and we go through what's working, what's not working, and we react to the business as such. We do not get influenced with what's happening around the balance of the mall with other retailers. We really have to focus individually on what's working for our business. And back to the prior question with the leaner inventories and making sure that we're testing and we're reading and reacting, it's a matter of just trying not to get too long on things that you don't know a lot about.
Our thanks to Abercrombie & Fitch CEO Fran Horowitz. We thank you so much for joining us, of course, talking us through the strategy on what has been a very high-flying stock.